It's weird starting university and realizing that for the first time, nobody's really telling you what to do. At school, everything felt a lot more structured. There were timetables, deadlines, teachers chasing you, parents checking in, and some kind of map already laid out in front of you. But when you get to university, especially in that first year, it starts to sink in that you're kind of on your own now. Not completely, obviously, but enough to notice it. You wake up, you go to lectures, you come back, maybe you tell yourself you're going to be productive later, but then suddenly the day's gone. And in between all of that, there's this strange pressure building in the background because you know you're supposed to be preparing for something bigger, even if you don't fully know what that is yet. That's the part nobody really prepares you for. Not just the workload, but the realization that university is not some magical reset button. It doesn't automatically make you more disciplined, more focused, or more ready for the world. You can get the student loan, the student ID, the fresh start feeling, and still feel completely lost if you don't know who you are or what you're building towards. I'm doing biomedical science, and honestly, I'm not even sure what I want to do next. I'm going into my second year in September, and picking this degree was mostly about the doors it opens, not because I'm dead set on one specific path. On one hand, there's the pharmaceutical industry, which would mean working really hard to get summer internships and placements because it's incredibly competitive, and even if I do everything I'm supposed to, I'm not guaranteed to succeed. On the other hand, there's becoming a biomedical scientist, which is a decent career path that pays alright, but the work's very repetitive and I'm not entirely sure I'd be happy doing it. And finally, there's medicine. There's quite a few ways for me to get into it, and they're very doable, but again, it's obviously a lot of hard work, and the degree itself is extremely long. And that long part is where it gets really personal in a way, because while I'm thinking about these paths, I'm also becoming more aware that my parents are getting older, and that's something a lot of people my age don't want to think about, but it's there. Gen Z is growing up in a world where we're supposed to plan futures that last decades, but also where our parents are aging faster than we're ready for, where the job market is harder than it used to be, where competition is insane, and where AI is creeping into everything, and where the kind of stability older generations had is basically gone. So we're trying to figure out careers while also dealing with the quiet pressure of knowing our families are changing around us. And that's another one of the reasons I'm making this channel. I want this to be more than just random videos with messages attached to them. I want it to be a kind of journal, a place where I can document where I'm at, what I'm learning, what I'm messing up, and what I'm improving on. Not in some fake perfect way either, just honestly. And if I'm figuring things out, I want to say that. If I'm struggling, I want to say that too. And if I learn something useful along the way, I want to pass it on. This is mainly because I know people are watching who are either younger than me, or maybe not aware of certain things yet, or maybe they're in the same position and just haven't come to terms with that yet. And if I can help just a little bit by opening up about my own experience, then that already gives a reason for this channel to exist. One thing I've started thinking about more seriously is the job market, especially for Gen Z, because the truth is it doesn't look as simple as it used to. A lot of us grew up with this idea that if you just go to university, get a decent degree, and behave yourself, then a stable job will just be waiting on the other side. But that's not really how it feels anymore. Now it feels like everyone's competing for everything. Entry level jobs want experience, experience wants connections, connections wants confidence, confidence wants proof, and while all of that is happening, AI is getting better, expectations are getting higher, and the middle ground is disappearing. So you can't really afford to drift away, not if you want options later. That's not even me trying to be dramatic. It's just the reality I think a lot of people are starting to notice. There's a difference between being busy and being prepared. There's a difference between being a student and being someone who's slowly becoming employable, resilient, and useful in the world. A lot of people my age are still trying to get through the week, and I get that. It's easy to do. It's easy to get caught up in nights out, deadlines, group chats, and the general routine of surviving the term. But there's also this quiet pressure in the background, because at some point the world stops treating you like a student and starts treating you like an adult. That shift happens fast, and if you haven't at least started paying attention by the time it happens, you can really feel like you're lost. That's why I want this channel to feel a little bit more personal. I don't want it to sound like someone standing above everyone else telling them what to do. I'd rather it feel like someone thinking out loud, learning in public and trying to make sense of things as they happen. I think that's more useful anyway, because people don't always need perfection. Sometimes they just need honesty. Sometimes it helps them hear someone say that they're figuring this out too, then hear some perfect advice that feels good but doesn't feel lived in. I also think there's something powerful about creating a space where progress is visible over time. If somebody comes back to the channel a few months later, I want them to feel like they've been following a real journey, not just consuming random videos. I want them to see growth, mistakes, changes in perspective, and the kind of lessons that only show up when someone stays consistent long enough to look back and notice the pattern. That's what makes a channel feel alive, not just the videos themselves, but the sense that there's actually a person behind them, trying to improve while inviting others to do the same. And if I'm being honest, part of the reason I want to share that process is because a lot of younger people are growing up with way too much noise and not enough direction. There's always another opinion, another trend, another easy way to get ahead, another person online acting like they've figured it all out. It's a lot to take in, especially when you're already trying to decide who you are and what kind of life you want. So if this channel can cut through some of that noise and make things feel a little clearer, then that matters. Even if it only helps a small number of people, it still means a lot. I also don't want this to be a place where everyone just agrees with everything. A good community should make people think. It should challenge them a little. It should give them room to grow without pretending life is simple. That way, the channel becomes more than just background noise. It becomes a place people can return to when they want perspective, honesty, and even just a reminder that they're not the only ones trying to figure things out. So that's it really, the purpose of this channel. To document progress, to share what I'm learning, to be honest about what I don't know yet, and hopefully to help some people who are either younger than me or just a little less aware of what's coming next. I'm not pretending to have everything figured out, because I don't, and maybe that's the point. Maybe the value is in watching someone figure it out in real time and realizing you can do the same. If you stick around, you'll probably see me talk about discipline, university life, careers, habits, confidence, and the stuff people don't always explain properly when they tell you to just work hard, because work hard matters, sure, but so does understanding the game you're playing. And right now, for people our age, the game has changed. The old path feels simple: study, graduate, get hired, and stay safe. The new one's a lot messier. It asks more from you. It wants adaptability, self-awareness, skill, patience, and the willingness to build something before anyone else claps for you. That's what I'm trying to do here. Not act like I've arrived, but keep moving, keep learning, and bring people along with me. So if you're watching this, welcome. You're early, and hopefully by the time this channel has grown into something more, you'll be able to look back and say you've grown too, and that you were here when it was still becoming something.